Hello students. So we are discussing about our topic, that is our environment, and we have seen that how Earth has been a unique planet among all the planets, isn't it? So why Earth is called as unique planet in the solar system? Because it is the only planet that supports life. So what makes Earth exhibit this feature? Is it the position of our planet in the solar system, or is it the physical and chemical composition of the Earth that have resulted from innumerable processes that occurred since its formation? Means when the Earth began to form, what happened? So many physical and chemical compositions of the Earth have resulted in the various processes among the universe or among the world, and this is because our Earth has proved as a unique planet. So students, when did the Earth formed, or when is the formation of Earth occurred? That is, the Earth have been formed about 4.6 billion years ago, and the first sign of life is said to have appeared about 3.8 billion years ago. So we will learn about this in the chapter 22. Okay. So however, it was until about 1.4 billion years ago that the first multicellular organisms appeared. So multicellular organisms means various animals and human beings, these all come under multicellular organisms. So the formation of Earth, the first sign of life, and the multicellular organisms have appeared billions of years ago. So you cannot count or measure it, isn't it? So billion years ago the formation took place, and the Earth has resulted the many processes taking place from construction to the disasters, isn't it? So these all come under our planet, that is Earth. So this is what happened. So students, we have seen the sub part of the Earth as lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. So let us see what is hydrosphere. So you already know that nearly 71% of Earth's surface is covered by water. So this part is called as what? Hydrosphere. So it is the only planet in the solar system with abundant liquid water, and this is one of the factors responsible for making life possible on Earth. So it is the major factor. Which one? Water is the major factor for the Earth to support life, isn't it? So we can consider water one of the major factor along with land and air. That is the planet in the solar system. So what do we consider? Water has some unique physical and chemical properties which supports life, and this is because water exists in all the three states, isn't it? So when you open refrigerator, you find ice inside it. So how do you find ice? You find ice as solid. Then you find liquid, isn't it? Water in the liquid form. When you take ice outside the refrigerator, it melts and it converts into the liquid form. And when this water is kept in the presence of sunlight or outside the house in the sunlight, what happens? It gets converted into water vapor. So water exists in all the three states: solid, liquid and gases. And water has a unique feature because of which it supports the life. But water needs a lot of energy to get converted into these states. Don't you feel so? Because even if you want to work out at home, you need a lot of energy. Even to study, even to think, you need a lot of energy to invest in that. So similarly, the different features on the Earth, they also need a lot of efforts to get converted from one form to other form. So water also requires considerable amount of energy to get heated up and to get converted into gaseous state. So what happens on very hot days? Yes, when it is very hot days, means summer season, Water bodies help to reduce atmospheric temperature by absorbing heat from the sun. But during the night, the heat is absorbed, is returned to the atmosphere, isn't it? So such a regulation is crucial for the survival of living organisms. Means it is very important for the water bodies to allow the living organisms to manage or to interact with the nature or with the water bodies, isn't it? So basically, water bodies, they always help to reduce atmospheric temperature by absorbing heat from the sun, but exactly it is inverse at the night time, because the heat absorbed is again returned to the atmosphere. So our earth is completely based on a cycle, isn't it? It is based on a water cycle. If you find ecosystem, that is also based on a cycle. So it is a cyclic process. We call it as what? Biogeo cycle. Okay. So the hydrosphere, if you take hydrosphere, that is nothing but what? The 71% part of the earth's surface which is covered by the water. So what all things come under water? Water means what? What all things are present in the nature? That is, the hydrosphere comprises oceans, rivers, streams, lakes, reservoirs, tanks, ponds, pools, ice caps, isn't it? So those are all the sources of water from where we get the water as a useful form, and also it is used for different purposes, isn't it? Which you have already seen in your previous chapter, that how water is very useful resource for the human beings, isn't it? So a lot of water also exists as water vapor in the atmosphere. So it is this which absorbs sun's heat and regulates atmospheric temperature. So you already know that water is available in scarcity because the consumption of water is more compared to the formation of water, and it is not in abundance. It is only 0.00% of water which is useful for the human beings, which you have already seen, isn't it? And to regulate the atmospheric pressure, this water gets converted into water vapor, isn't it? So you have already studied that depending on the dissolved salts, water is also called as what? Salt water or fresh water. So the salt water is present where? The salt water is present in the seas or in the oceans, that is we called as marine habitat. So provides their living space. So this is far greater than that provided by freshwater habitat and land. So water is basically heavier than air. Do you agree that? Yes. So water is basically heavier than air, and water provides beyond sea to aquatic life, isn't it? So water is a major constituent of protoplasm. As a universal solvent, it allows substance to dissolve in it, isn't it? Water allows every substance to get dissolved with it. Salt, if you put, it gets dissolved. Salt water, then if you put sugar in the water, it also gets dissolved. So it acts as a universal solvent, isn't it? So it acts as a bridge between outer environment and body of organisms. For example, if you take nutrients, enter into the roots of plants in solution form, isn't it? If you take minerals or nutrients, are they directly going to the plants? No, they're not going directly to the plants, but they are reaching to the plants in the form of a solution. So what kind of solution? That is, these nutrients, they get absorbed by the water, and it has a direct influence on the distribution of plants and animals. So that is why water acts as a unique resource in all phases. I hope you are getting my point, how water is an important resource.